Illegal immigration and Kamala Harris's record during her time here in California is part of a new attack ad on the vice president.
Kamala put violent illegals, convicted felons, back on the streets.
Kamala just doesn't care about protecting people like me.
So this is a pro-Trump campaign ad from the Make America Great Again PAC. It features a San Francisco crime victim. As you can see, several shots of the Golden Gate Bridge were shown there. And the ad attacks Kamala Harris's record on crime, specifically as San Francisco DA. That ad is getting a lot of airtime in swing states like Pennsylvania. So Wilson Walker has more on the ad and what it tells us about this campaign.
I was robbed. They tried to run me over with a getaway car. He almost killed me right over here. He was laughing as he fractured my skull.
Amanda's attacker was an illegal immigrant drug dealer arrested twice before.
The attack happened in Pacific Heights in July of 2008. Amanda Kiefer was robbed of her purse and then run down by her attacker, a man who was in the country illegally and had been previously charged in 2 cases, one a drug charge, another an unrelated purse snatching. Now, that was one of several cases that year that raised controversy surrounding the city's sanctuary city policies. Most notable was the murder of a father and his 2 sons in a mistaken gang shooting. The Edwin Ramos case actually prompted changes to those sanctuary policies that dated back to the 1980s.
We stopped the process of sending people out of state, and we began to initiate conversations with the city attorney's office, with the U.S. attorney.
Now, your critics are already saying your opposition to the death penalty is going to hurt you. Your support for a sanctuary city is going to hurt you. What do you say?
I say that crime is a nonpartisan issue. And what most people want is they want an attorney general who will follow the rule of law above the rule of politics.
The issue was raised when Harris began to run for California Attorney General, and now, 16 years later, it becomes part of the presidential campaign.
Immigration and undocumented immigration, this is a theme that Trump wants this election to be on, and if they can tie Vice President Harris to that kind of thing, then yeah, absolutely, it's a kind of ad that can have an impact.
San Francisco State political science professor Jason McDaniel says the specifics of the case are inevitably outweighed by the optics of the ad. It not only hits the immigration and crime buttons, but also comes with the added bonus of including the longtime Republican nemesis that is San Francisco.
Being sort of out of control, and issues of drugs, issues of immigration, issues of homelessness, taxes. These have been issues that Republicans have long wanted to highlight as core Democratic issues.
But what is different this time around is that San Francisco leadership is featured so prominently at the very top of the Democratic power structure.
That wouldn't have been the case 30 years ago, right? That a national electorate would have, I think, very likely seen San Francisco as too extreme, too liberal, right? And yet that is no longer the issue, I think, amongst Democrats. But Republicans, I think, still see that as a vulnerability and want to highlight that.
But she's a radical left believer. She ruined San Francisco.
We should add that Donald Trump, when speaking to crowds about the Harris record in San Francisco, often does so with wild inaccuracies. For example, he has said that Harris refused to arrest murderers in San Francisco. That is patently false. Edwin Ramos, for example, was charged and convicted with murder. And as for the attacker in the case cited in the ad, he too was charged and convicted. And when he was, Kamala Harris lobbied for his deportation back to Honduras. And that ultimately happened in 2011.